If I had to lose 60 pounds by August, here is exactly what I would do. 4 boxes to check every single day, plus one bonus that's not daily, but is still critical for your success. Now, before we get into the checklist, I need to be clear about something. In other videos on my channel, I have talked about a more sustainable rate of weight loss, maybe losing 1 pound a week over a long time horizon, and that's still ideal for most people. But this video is about losing even more weight in half the time. 60 pounds in about 6 months from the time of this recording. That's a lot of weight, very fast. So this is for people who need to lose weight rapidly for a very specific reason. Maybe your doctor gave you a short-term warning. Maybe you have a short-term goal or event. Or maybe you're not on a time crunch, but you're just genuinely morbidly obese and you have 100+ pounds to lose, so we can afford to go at a faster rate and it's still actually going to be sustainable for you. And here's why going fast actually works. It's proven that the more weight you lose in the first month of your weight loss journey, the more likely you are to actually lose the long-term weight loss goal. Think about this psychologically. If you were to only lose a discouraging amount of weight in month 1, let's say 4 or 5 pounds, and then you inevitably slow down in month 2 anyway because you're no longer losing water weight, you didn't even get the early win of rapid initial progress. So the big idea here is that even though it's mostly water you're losing in your first month, there's a psychological win that occurs and throws you into momentum, which elongates your motivation to stay disciplined to your goal of getting the weight off and keeping it off long term. So let's talk about what 60 pounds in 6 months actually looks like, because most people quit right around month 2, 3, or 4 because they don't know what to expect. You do not lose weight linearly. You lose weight fast at the start and then it slows down. That's just how the body works. But as long as you're aware of that ahead of time, you won't panic in months 2 through 4. You just keep executing on the plan. Now for the daily checklist. Checklist item number 1, weigh yourself every single morning. If you don't already have a scale, buy one. Just get a simple basic digital scale from Amazon. It'll be 10, 15, maybe 20 bucks. That's all you're gonna need. Smart scales, the ones that actually track your body fat percentage at home, are generally pretty inaccurate unless you spend a few $100s. It's better to do just a basic digital at-home body weight scale and then get an actual DEXA scan at an in-person facility every few months if you really want that accurate body fat percentage data. Now, how do you do an effective weigh-in? You should use the same scale every day. You should place it on the same exact surface. Don't do hardwood floor one day and carpet the next day. You should also be in the same body state. So an easy way to do this is just do it at the same time every morning and repeat the same variables. So if you always do it before you eat breakfast and have something to drink, continue to do that throughout the whole process. If you always do it after you go to the bathroom, continue to do that as well. And if you always do it without clothes, continue to do it without clothes. Consistency is the key. Don't get too emotional over the day-to-day fluctuations of 1 to 3 or 4 pounds that sometimes go in the wrong direction. It's normal. You are doing daily weigh-ins simply to get more data. It's going to give you 30 data points a month versus 4 data points a month if you only weighed yourself weekly. And obviously, 30 data points is going to be more accurate than just 4. Plus, we can see in weight loss research that daily self-weighing is actually associated with significantly greater weight loss and better long-term maintenance. You aren't going to be making strategy adjustments and decisions based off of the day-to-day. You make them off of the week-to-week or the month-to-month, but the daily data points just give you better information to do so. Checklist item number 2. Eat at your BMR until you hit your goal body weight. You can figure out your BMR, or basal metabolic rate, using a Mifflin-St. Jeor calculator. That is going to become your calorie target. I'm actually okay with you going as many as 250 calories below your BMR if you really want to crank it up. That's going to serve as your calorie ceiling. You can eat up to that many calories every day until you're at your goal weight. Now, some people get in a fuss when I say eat at or below your BMR because they think it's too aggressive, but here's the thing. The extra 60+ pounds on your body is stored excess energy. You have a savings account of calories on your body. Hundreds of thousands of calories in excess that you need to burn off. So you can eat at or below your BMR for this short period of time. You will be okay. It is not forever. It's just until you get to your goal body weight, which, side note, should probably be somewhere around 24, 25 BMI, whatever that works out for you. And you can track this calorie intake using MyFitnessPal or whatever app that you want. Be disciplined though, track everything. common places where people make mistakes is they neglect tracking sauces, cooking oils, and beverages. They don't track their dressing as they put it on a salad and they think it's just 100 calories of vegetables. Meanwhile, they poured another 400 calories of oil on top of it. And if you're cooking meats, the animal fat is enough to cook itself. You don't need to add oil to the pan. But if you do, measure it and track it. For cooking veggies, either grill it or find a low-calorie, non-stick option. Are the ingredients in low-calorie, non-stick spray or oil alternatives the best thing for you? No, not necessarily. But being over-fat is more damaging to your health than the small amount of chemicals in low-calorie food alternatives. In an ideal world, you just avoid the calories and the bad ingredients altogether and grill it, but some people insist on frying their vegetables. So if you're gonna do it, just use a low-calorie alternative. So in summary, yes, eating at your BMR or below it is aggressive, but it's not forever. It's a sprint for the next 60 pounds or whatever your healthy body weight target is. And once you get there, you transition to maintenance calories. And if you're really that concerned about it, fine. Once every 2 or 4 weeks, go back to your maintenance calories, your total daily energy expenditure, for 1 to 2 days just to have a nice little reset. But all that matters for losing the weight is the calorie deficit. The timing of the meals doesn't matter. How many meals you eat doesn't matter. Even specifically what you eat doesn't matter. Just stay at or below that calorie ceiling to lose weight. And P.S., we're already being aggressive here, like I've said a few times. Don't get over aggressive. Don't hear this and say, Joey said BMR or minus 250 from BMR is good. I'm gonna take it to 1,000 below BMR. 250 below your BMR is the absolute max. So actually try to hit it. Don't cut yourself short intentionally trying to speed up the process. We're already going really, really fast, and this is reserved for cases of rapid weight loss or extreme morbid obesity. Checklist item number 3, hit 0.8 grams of protein per pound of your goal body weight daily. Like I literally just said. Hey, real quick, if you're a business owner and you are looking to lose the weight and you want to do it sustainably and you actually want me to build your daily checklist for you, there's going to be a link in the description below to apply for one-on-one coaching with me. To date, I've helped over 1,200 clients lose 10,000 plus pounds combined. And if at the end of our time working together, you aren't satisfied with the results or the service I provided, I will refund you in full. So if that sounds even remotely interesting to you, check the description, find the link to apply for coaching with me. Thanks, enjoy the rest of the video. All that matters to manipulate your weight is calories, even if you got it from foods that aren't high in protein. However, implementing this high protein strategy will make this journey far more effective, enjoyable, and sustainable for you, as you'll see in just a second here. So let's just say hypothetically that your healthy or goal body weight is 200 pounds. You would eat 200 times 0.8, which equals 160 grams of protein daily. This keeps you from losing muscle while you're in a calorie deficit, which is extremely important when doing this at a rapid pace. It's proven that the less muscle you lose during weight loss, the more likely you are to keep the weight off long-term and the healthier your metabolism will be. We want to avoid having a wrecked hormone system at the end of this transformation. It is a scientific fact that proper protein intake during caloric restriction significantly preserves lean body mass and improves fat loss outcomes. That is from a meta-analysis in Nutrition Reviews. So this is data, not just theory. You're not just losing weight, you're losing fat and keeping muscle, which reduces the chances that you end up skinny fat at the end of this or gain all of the weight back in the first place. High protein also keeps you satiated, so you're less likely to binge or blow out your calories, and it also has the highest thermic effect of food, meaning your body burns more calories breaking down protein than it does carbs, fats, or alcohol. Checklist item number 4, walk at least 6,000 to 8,000 steps every single day. We have all heard the magic number of 10,000 steps a day. You've maybe even heard me say it before in certain contexts, but the number is ultimately arbitrary. I say 6,000 to 8,000 because 10,000 usually takes 1 to 2 hours unless you have a very active career. And I mean intentional hours, like blocking off extra time on your calendar to make it happen. And I found that most people I work with, and also ones who just watch my content, are working sedentary jobs. Finding 2 hours a day to hit 10,000 steps is very time intensive. Most people here are business owners or just generally busy people who don't have that kind of time. And they especially don't have it on top of workouts that are already being put into their calendar in the first place. So 6,000 to 8,000 is a very good baseline. You can get there with a little intentional walking time, maybe an hour a day, plus increasing your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Take your phone calls on walks, park further away from buildings, turn date night into an active date night, and start to burn extra calories from just having an active day-to-day life without blocking off additional time specifically for more steps or more exercise. And yes, ideally, sure, you get to 10,000 steps a day, but even with my hyperactive clients, we usually cap steps at 10,000 because of time restrictions. And so eventually it just becomes more efficient to increase the intensity of those steps instead of just adding more. So some examples include carry a dumbbell, put heavy stuff in a backpack and put it on while you walk, buy an actual weighted vest and start rucking. If you're on a treadmill for your steps, put it on an incline or increase the pace. You're gonna have way more calories burned per hour than a standard flat walk with no weight or resistance. Plus, you get the benefit of resistance training and building more muscle. Now, lastly, your bonus checklist item, resistance train 3 to 4 days a week for 30 to 45 minutes. And again, this is a bonus point because you're not gonna do it daily. All you need to do is 3 to 4 days a week, 30 to 45 minutes. That should be plenty, especially for somebody who is newer to resistance training or just hasn't done it in a while. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the person who trains 3 to 4 times a week consistently for their entire life is gonna have better results than the person who trains 7 days a week and falls off every 3 to 6 months because it was too much and too aggressive. So I would rather you commit to training less because it means you're gonna be more consistent long term. And again, realistically, if you know what you're doing or you have a really good coach, 3 to 4 sessions a week at 30 to 45 minutes a pop is plenty. It's more than enough stimulus, especially if you prioritize compound movements. So things like squats, deadlifts, presses, rows, they hit big muscle groups and multiple joint patterns, and it's the most time efficient and biggest bang for your buck muscle stimulus wise. And resistance training can be anything that creates resistance through a range of motion. So depending on your equipment access, this might look like barbells, dumbbells, resistance bands, kettlebells, suspension training. It might just be your body weight. Again, as long as you are creating tension and resistance through a range of motion, do what is best for you. I am not married to a methodology, I'm married to the principle of resistance training consistently. A sports medicine review that you may be familiar with found that resistance training during weight loss is the most effective strategy to preserve muscle, preserve metabolic rate, and prevent metabolic adaptation that causes weight regain or plateaus. The goal here is not to become a bodybuilder, unless you want to be a bodybuilder, but most people watching this don't want to. You just want to build or sustain enough muscle that your metabolism stays high even after you lose the weight. Now that we have the checklist out of the way, it's time for the reality check or mental prep side of things. Because if you set out to lose this much weight, you will inevitably hit the messy middle. And in this case, that's probably gonna be in months 2 to 4, maybe even month 5, because that's where the excitement fades after the initial 15 to 20 pounds is gone. You started out losing 3 to 4 pounds per week, but now you're only losing 2 pounds a week. And I put it in air quotes because clinically, that's still very fast. I have clients losing 2 pounds a week who are frustrated, but 2 pounds a week is 104 pounds a year. Over 100 pounds per year, that's a lot. Think about how different you would feel a year from now if you were 100 pounds lighter. But the problem is people lose 15 to 20 pounds in the first month and they think they'll always lose that much. But it's just not how it happens. You have rapid loss in the beginning because of glycogen storage depleting and your body losing water weight. Then you're grinding at 1.5 to 2 pounds a week maximum. Most times if somebody's trying to lose 60 pounds over the course of 6 months, if they're using this rapid approach, they're gonna lose 30 pounds in the first 2 months or so, and then the last 30 pounds is gonna come off at half the pace, way slower, and it's mentally draining if you aren't prepared for it. So you just need to know that this is coming. You don't need to work harder, you don't need to change your plan, you just need to understand that it is inevitable. It's biology, it's normal, and habit formation takes 66 days. So you need to soldier through that period. And then after that, a lot of the stuff that we talked about is gonna run on autopilot. And remember, you want it to become automatic because you don't want to rely on motivation. Motivation is a fleeting emotion. I talk about it all the time. Habits are part of who you are. They are a reflection of your identity. If you get stuck relying on motivation, you're going to stay on the hamster wheel for the rest of your life. You need to build habits so this becomes sustainable. Now, good news. Once you get the weight off, the weight is off. And if you do it the right way, you only have to lose weight once. And once it is off, you'll slowly increase your calories back to maintenance, which is much easier to hit. You'll slowly increase your workout activity because you have more fuel to do so. And you'll slowly start making these periodic changes that lead to the longer term sustainable success. So here's what these next 6 months actually get you. You're not just 60 pounds or more lighter, you understand how your body works, you know what to do when progress inevitably slows, you've built habits that don't require motivation to maintain. And that is the difference between a transformation and just another failed fad diet. Now, of course, like I've mentioned, this is one of the faster ways to get weight off. You have seen other videos on my channel where I talk about the more sustainable, slower ways to do it. But when I work with clients, I usually do the best of both worlds, and it's usually really unique to their specific situation and their own psychology. So sometimes I'll use the fast strategy in the beginning and then wean off and move to the more sustainable strategy once we get that initial psychological momentum rolling downhill. Now, if you haven't done this as a fitness professional like I have 1,000+ times for the clients I've helped lose 10,000+ pounds, this might sound a little unclear or fuzzy. And that's probably because it is, unless you've actually practiced it. And that's the entire reason that I actually have one-on-one coaching. So if you're somebody looking to lose 60 pounds by August, or maybe you're watching this later on in the future and you just want to lose weight in general and you want my help doing it so that you can combine the best of both worlds successfully, sustainably, and get this weight off and keep it off for the rest of your life, I'm going to have an application link in the description below. If you want to lose weight, get healthy, and get control of your health and fitness once and for all, click that link to apply to work with me. Outside of that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit subscribe and share it with somebody who's in need. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.